Could you benefit from building supreme confidence? What would change for you if you played your best when under pressure? What's it costing you to not have the confidence, the poise, and skill to execute when your team needs you most? I've created an exclusive training video designed just for you. I outline the 3 critical keys to building unshakable supreme confidence and dominating under pressure. You'll also find out how you can apply these to your career today so that you can start to speed up your results and follow a predictable system to get you to your goals. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure. You can go ahead and access that free training in less than 2 minutes. You'll be learning exactly what I teach my high-performance professional athletes and clients about what it takes to dominate. Again, IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure.
If you try to get right, then you listen to my dad. He's a beast. And if you don't want to listen to him, okay, you don't want to get successful. If you ain't trying to dominate, man, then go listen to something else.
Welcome, athletes, top performers, and all those looking to gain that killer instinct, that edge you need to dominate in any environment. This is the Sports Motivation Podcast, and I'm your host, Niyi Sobo. I played ball and succeeded at the highest levels, and I'm now committed to showing you how you can accomplish the ambitious goals and visions that you have. This podcast is designed to teach you high-level strategy, not just fluff and hype. This will cut to the core if you let it. And by taking action on the practical and next-level advice I share, you will see results. Expect that. Expect to be more confident. Expect to be more focused. Expect to be more decisive. And expect to be more fearless. Expect to become the leader your vision needs you to become. So listen up. Take notes. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Motivation Podcast. It is me. It is I, Niyi Sobo, and this is part 2 of the mental conditioning series, where I'm breaking down the basics and the fundamentals of mental conditioning, how to do it, why it's important, some very specific tactical approaches towards it, and of course, some very cool tools that I'm gonna share with you as well. All right. So in part 1, and if you haven't heard it, please go back and check part 1 of the series, which I believe is absolutely critical, because what I did in part 1 was I defined mental conditioning for you. What is it? How do we define it, right? Mental toughness, poise. What are some other things that are thrown out there? Work hard. Just a bunch of these terms that are thrown out there, but people don't really define them. It's like, what does that mean? I don't get what that means. I don't know how that applies to me, and that annoys me. And I'm sure it annoys you, all right? And I don't want to annoy you. I don't want you walking away from listening to this podcast thinking, what I got to do now? No, I want you walking away thinking, I know exactly what I got to do. I know exactly why it's important, and I know exactly how to do it. That's what this series is all about, all right? So in the first one, we defined what it is. We defined the G code, or the belief system behind mental conditioning, which is critical. We talked about the 4 elements or types of mental conditioning, which I'm going to review really quickly right here, because this is going to be very relevant to what I'm going to do for you today. Because what you're going to have when you walk away here, as well as when you go to the website and download the PDF that I share with you, is you're going to have your own mental conditioning program, all right? This is the peak performers, the top performers mental conditioning program, the IMNOTYOU mental conditioning program that you're going to want to start implementing if you haven't already. Chances are, if you've been listening to this, you've already implemented some pieces of this. But like I mentioned in the last episode, there's something to be said about doing something when you know how it fits into the bigger picture, all right? And how do those things fit into the bigger picture? Here are the 4 types of mental conditioning, and you must have all these things met. Action-based. That means physical actions done with the intent of building the stamina, strength, and agility. Some examples: pushing past your comforts, and we'll be talking about that. Next is written-based mental conditioning. Writing things down. Written exercises are powerful. Do not write them off. No pun intended, or pun intended. Do not write them off. Written-based is very critical. Journaling is critical. So this helps you gain awareness, helps you establish new thought patterns. Also is great for planning, etc. All right. Basically deciding on what to think. All right. Next is mental meditations and visualizations. This also should be done actively. These are visualizations, meditations, breathing exercises that are designed to influence your subconscious mind, increase your focus, and also help you reduce anxiety and promote a sense of calm and poise. And I've given you many tools for that as well. And if you stay tuned on the next episode is when I'm dropping some heat on y'all, and you're going to have your own pregame visualization. It's powerful, all right? And then lastly, there's assimilation mental conditioning, which is more passive, reading, watching videos, being around mentors, learning through osmosis, getting feedback and advice. Anything done to influence your beliefs can be called mental conditioning, all right? So now what I want to do is lay out for you in great detail the I'm Not You mental conditioning program. All right, are you ready? You don't necessarily need to write this down because I have a PDF and a checklist free for you. So if you go to IMNOTYOU.com/podcast, click on this episode, it will be there for you. You can click it, download it, and start checking this off daily, making sure that you're getting all these things taken care of in terms of moving forward and developing that mental strength, that mental stamina, that mental agility. All right. Here are the aspects. Number one, you have to be daily blueprinting. All right. Now, what is blueprinting? I'm also going to give you a copy of one version of my daily blueprint. It's combined planning and mental conditioning all in one. All right. Very, very powerful. I do it every single morning, every single night without fail. My kids do it. My wife, I try to get her to do it. She does it every so often, but it's critical. My athletes do it. You must blueprint. You must plan your day. You must condition your mind. All right. That includes planning and gratitude, as well as some other thought conditioning. Now, mind you, this is written, right? This is written-based mental conditioning. That's the first part. The second thing is meditation and visualization. These are what we categorize as those thought-based, the meditations part of the mental conditioning, right? So you must be meditating every day. What this does is help you develop a sense of calm and focus. If you don't understand meditation, or you're not very spiritual, you don't even have to look at it like that. Meditation alone helps you develop what we call focus. How many times you check your phone, you're not able to sit still. Practice sitting still. Practice being quiet. You will start to see the tangible benefits as you go along. But if you can't sell yourself on the need to do that, just think of it in terms of helping you develop that poise and focus, all right? And then, of course, visualization. This must be a part of your mental conditioning program. At least 5 minutes in the morning. That's it. Just spend time visualizing what you want to have done in terms of the end result that day. It could be at the end of that month. It could be a long-term goal. You can even visualize past success. What's important is that you bring up the feeling of the success, because your subconscious mind can't tell if it happened in the future, in the past, or if it's happening right now. It's why you get scared in scary movies, all right? So that's the first part. Those are done in the morning. The next part is your pregame routine. Now, I say pregame because you should be approaching practice in the same way that you approach games. So this should not change. You should have some form of visualization, 5 minutes. That means preparing your mind mentally for what's getting ready to happen. Imagining what's going to happen and how you want to perform. 5 minutes. That's it. The next part of your pregame routine, identify the results that you want. It should be written based. You should have a journal that you use before games, before practices. Write out the end result. What do you want to accomplish? And I'm not necessarily talking about scoring a certain amount of goals. For some people, you can set those type of results-based goals and not get anxiety. For some of you, you can't do that, so don't do it. Know who you are. If you're the type of person who has no problem setting a results goal and not being disappointed and overwhelmed with frustration if you don't get it, then by all means do that. I'm more talking about the quality result that you want to have. Like, how do you want to play? What's the quality of your play? Not necessarily the quantity, like the numbers and all those type of things. Many times those things are outside of our control. I tend to have a more balanced approach. When I set goals, I have some goals that are more quantitative, and some that are more qualitative, all right? You can experiment with yourself, but just know who you are. But you got to identify your results And then next is identifying potential roadblocks and determining response in advance. This is, again, a written-based type of mental conditioning. That's something as simple as saying, what is likely to happen in this practice today? Number one, I get a little tired, get a little gassed. Number two, get a little frustrated because things are not going my way, whatever, right? Just identify in advance. Then determine how you want to respond to that. So when and if you get frustrated, how do you want to respond to that? Maybe it's clap both of my hands together and take a big deep breath and tell myself a mantra. Maybe it's, go talk to one of my friends. Maybe it's go link up with my coach. Maybe it's drop down and do 2 push-ups just to get my state right. Identify how you want to respond in advance. That's mental conditioning your mind. You following me? Next is a workout finisher. This is action-based mental conditioning. That means identify some sort of action that you're going to take post-training in a particularly, quote-unquote, weaker physical state of mind or of body, right? When your body is weak, see to it that you do something to push it or challenge it to make it expand, to make it grow, because that is where the real growth comes. The real growth comes when you feel like you can't push anymore and you push past one more time. That's where the real growth comes. That is an action-based mental conditioning exercise, and I call it a workout finisher. Now, for some of you who are not athletes, it doesn't matter. Identify an action that you can take to push yourself. Maybe it's making 5 more calls. Maybe it's greeting X amount more people. Maybe it's spending X amount of more time studying for that test. A workout finisher, some sort of action that you're going to take to push yourself, all right? The next part of your mental conditioning program has got to be at least 30 minutes of reading or video. Remember, that's assimilation-based mental conditioning. 30 minutes of reading, video. You have to spend time learning from others, soaking up game, learning, expanding your knowledge base, adding to the database, the wealth of knowledge. You have to continuously be adding that every single day, all right? The next part is in the nighttime, all right? Number 1, I call it the cleanser technique. This is written-based mental conditioning. At night, you want to cleanse your thoughts, purify your mind. Throughout the course of the day, you will have several beliefs, several ideas, several thoughts that will show up in the form of emotions that will not be productive, frustrated, overwhelmed, anxious, mad, pissed off, sad, depressed. At night, you want to take a piece of paper that's very simple, draw a line down the middle, hamburger style. On one side, write all of the thoughts that come to your mind, all of the quote-unquote negative thoughts, the unfruitful thoughts. Write them down exactly how they appear. I don't feel like I'm making any progress. I can't stand my coach. Damn, this sucks. I'm probably not going to reach my goals. Man, I'm broke. Man, I ain't got this. I don't got that. Man, this is horrible. Write them all down. Don't judge yourself. And then each one on the right-hand side, you're going to take one of those thoughts or take each thought, and you're going to cleanse it. You're going to take that thought, you're going to run it through the washing machine, and out is going to come a more purified, a more beneficial thought. It can be even slightly better. So instead of saying, man, I'm never going to reach my goals, say, well, at least I learned X, Y, and Z today. Well, at least I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. That's a better quality thought. The key is picking better quality thoughts. All right. That's called the cleanser technique. Very, very critical. You should do it nightly. Next thing is pregame planning. So plan out your day the night before. This is for your blueprint. You also have this on your blueprint. When you download it, you go to IMNOTYOU.com/podcast. Click on this episode. You will get this checklist along with a sample of the blueprint, all right, that you can print out and use. That's written based. Next is at least 5 minutes of visualizing, getting yourself in a good state of mind and imagining the results that you want. There's no better time to do that than right before you go to sleep, all right? Now listen, I just laid out this mental conditioning program for you. We have all 4 elements: action-based, written-based, meditations and visualizations, as well as assimilation-based mental conditioning. All 4 are included in this daily mental conditioning program. The question now is, are you going to do this, honestly? First of all, do you see the value in it? If you're not sold, please go back to episode 1 of this series, the first part of this series, where I break down the importance of mental conditioning. But now you have a blueprint. You know exactly what to do. This is what you should be doing. And when I say you should be doing, here's what I mean by that. If you want to be deliberate and conscious about what you think, 'cause I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, I think I've told you guys this. I mentioned this. I'm going to homeschool my kids starting this fall. I have 5 children. All right. And you know what's funny is a lot of people, when I tell them that, they immediately start to try to convince me as to why I shouldn't do it. They don't even try to figure out why I'm doing it. They just start immediately trying to convince me of why I shouldn't. I'm not sure why that is. That's another thing. First of all, let me assure you I'm not dumb. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I'm also very resourceful. So I'm going to figure it out. I also know my outcomes. But my point in telling you this is that one of the biggest motivations for me in homeschooling my kids is that I care a lot about my kids. I care deeply about them. And what I mean by that is I want good for my kids. And the way I define good is based on my values. I want my kids to be confident. I want them to be fearless. I do not want them, scared to do what it is that they want to do. I don't want them driven by fear like 99% of people. And one of the things that comes up a lot is I see that my kids will not be very deliberate about using their brain, their mind. They'll say things like, I don't know. And I notice that it gets worse in relation to how old they are. So the older they get, the more dull-witted they become. I'm not calling my kids dull-witted. It happens to us all. We all become more dull-witted. We become more, what's the word? We become more institutionalized. We become more dull. We become more soft, more weak, more scared. This is naturally what happens. Talk about the concept of entropy, right? If you don't deliberately put energy into something, naturally what's going to happen over time is this disorder will follow, all right? And this is what's going to happen with your thoughts. A lot of people wonder why they're scared, why they're anxious when it's time to play. They wonder why they work out all the time, but they still don't have the confidence. They still can't get themselves to do tough things. They're still mentally weak and soft. And it's because they don't put focus and energy on how to think. You must determine how you want to think. You decide that. Otherwise, you know who's going to decide for you? Television, Instagram, Facebook, your mom, your dad, your school, your coach, your friends, advertisements that you see everywhere, computer screens. That's what's going to influence your thinking. Do you want the CEO of some Fortune 500 company determining how you think so that you're now a zombie, or do you want to decide how you want to think? Mental conditioning is critical. You must condition your mind for success. And I've laid out exactly how to do that. The question now is, are you going to do it? Do you take it seriously enough? And are you willing to put in the work that it takes? Because that's another thing that I see a lot that I don't want my kids to have. I don't want my kids to be delusional about the cost of what it takes to be great. And I want them to be great in whatever it is that they decide to do. I want them to become all that they can be, or at least die trying. There's a price to be paid. It requires focus. It requires attention to detail. It requires feelings of anxiety that come along with growth, which is the equivalent of your lungs burning while you're running or your muscles burning while you're lifting weights. That's going to happen, but you must do it, all right? You must do it if you want what you say that you want. That's what it looks like, all right? Otherwise, average results, good results, that's what you want? No, you want great, all right? So again, IMNOTYOU.com/podcast. Click on this link, this episode, Mental Conditioning Series Part 2, and I'm going to have a chart for you. I'm Not You Mental Conditioning Program, along with a sample of a day in my blueprint, my personal blueprint. You can use this, print it out, and use this. Very powerful tools that you have access to now that you're going to start using. And I want you to stick with me because on this next episode, what I'm going to lay out for you is an 11-minute pregame visualization track that's going to put you in an absolute state of bulletproof confidence. It's going to wire you for success. Get you excited to play your sport. How many of you go out to play and you feel nervous? You feel nervous to go to practice, the very sport that you grew up loving to play. You have feelings of overwhelm and anxiety and angst around the very sport that you say that you love. This is a crime. You cannot do this. This pregame visualization will absolutely blow the top off of your whole potential and help take your game to the next level. Is that a large claim? Yeah, I think it is. But you listen to it and you tell me. You tell me why I get emails all the time talking about how they use the visualization before every workout, before every routine. It's powerful, man. What's the alternative? Just go out to practice? Just go out to play? Not me. Not me. I choose to treat each day like it's a Super Bowl. Each day is my Super Bowl. So I prepare like it's a Super Bowl. I feel like it's a Super Bowl. Get Super Bowl type results. Let's get it together, all right? So part 3 coming next episode. Check that out. Go get your resources. Hey, I'm going to be honest. What I just laid out for you guys, like even this one and the last one, what I'm getting ready to give you next time, I mean, these are things that I could spend a lot more time on, that I teach my clients, that I teach the teams that I go in and consult with. It's just powerful stuff. And also spend a lot more time on it as well. But I want you to take this serious. Like, this is not a game. Like, this is real legit stuff you're being given right now that I want you to use. I want you to take it serious, all right? So I'm going to see you on the next episode. And I do it because I love you. And I appreciate you for your desire to be great. And the only reason why I'm deciding to give out all of this information, free of charge, by the way, this is all yours. You ain't got to pay to listen to no podcast. It's because I'm committed to helping people become their best. And I know that you value it. You value it. I don't hand this out to people that don't value it. All right. So prove that you value it and print out these sheets and start checking off the boxes. Start doing it. Start doing the work. Remember, mental conditioning is not an end in itself, though. It's designed to help you get the result. So keep that in mind as you commit. All right. I respect you. I love you. Let's keep going. Let's keep getting it. We're not even halfway into 2017 yet. Let's keep getting after it. All right. Talk soon. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Motivation Podcast. Make sure if you dig in the podcast, go and subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. I come out with a new episode twice a week on Tuesday and Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you go ahead and rate it and leave me a good review. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. One of the most common questions I get from athletes all the time is this: what is the single best thing I can do to reach my goals? How can I set myself apart from everybody else? Obviously, there are a lot of things, but the one thing that's helped set me apart was having a coach, a mentor, someone to show me the right strategies and how I need to do things specifically to achieve my results. So you could try to do it on your own, but you'll end up making many mistakes that could have been avoided if you had someone guiding you and coaching you along the way. 99% of athletes in the world have expert coaches to show them the things that they can't see. If you want to work with me as your coach, I want you to go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC and learn more and sign up for a free coaching session. I'll give you 60 minutes of my time for free, and I can teach you some dynamic strategies, plus show you how you can secure me as your sports results coach. All I ask is that you fit in this criteria. You're serious about your sport, you're willing to invest the time and money, and you have clear goals of taking your game to the next level, or some sort of specific results you want to achieve. This is definitely not for everyone, and I have very limited spots available for this. So, if this applies to you, I want you to take action. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC, and I guarantee you're going to take your game and your career to the next level.